Hello, and welcome to today's video. This is the Dsentry Assassin. This was actually requested for me quite a bit, and I was very skeptical towards this build. I didn't think it's going to work. I didn't think it's going to be good at all when I started testing, but the more I tested, the more I found out this is one of my favorite things in Season 12. So let's talk about how this build works and how we're going to make it look awesome in Season 12. So this is, just as a reminder, beta testing coming from the closed beta, meaning we do not have access to slams. We're just working with what we have, trying to make the best of what we got. So we're going to try to show the idea behind the build and how do you play it, how do you make it with all the gears and stuff, and give some tips as to other stuff you can do in order to make it work differently. This build is pretty tight, so it requires almost everything that I'm using to make it feel good. So just keep those things in mind, I guess, when looking at this video. With that said, let's look at the skills, the attributes, the gear, and the mercenary for this build. And this is a trapper build using the Dsentry skill. This is a skill that used to be amazing in Pd2 and since then was nerfed and I think kind of given up on by the community. But we're going to bring it to its former glory, hopefully, with this video. So for this build, you want to have level 24 Dragonflight. Dragonflight was buffed to need only level 24 soft points to gain the maximum deflight or the minimum deflight cooldown, which is 1 second, which is amazing for this build because we are going to be teleporting a lot. So this is your first investment. You're not going to need a lot of skill points because you have a lot of plus skills on this build. On the live version, you will need even less skill points to get this maxed. So this is kind of like important to get. In the trap skill tree, you want to max your Dsentry and the synergies Fire Blast and Wake of Inferno. You can get other points as well in the traps. Because the traps kind of give synergies to your warriors. It's kind of like an extra tip. Your warriors cast Fire Blasts in this build. It's kind of like the idea, and Fire Blast has synergies from all of these traps, and they take synergies based on your soft points. So this will make your trap stronger. So 1 point in all of the other traps. Max Wake of Inferno, max Fire Blast, max Dsentry, 1 point in Blade Shield, because it does help a little bit with Leech and gives you a little bit more sustain, which is important for this build. In the Shadow Discipline skill tree, you want points in burst of speed, and you want points in burst of speed enough to have the maximum IS frames for laying your traps. It's important, you want it to be as fast as possible. You also want to cast it so your warriors also cast it after you, so make sure to cast it after you summon them. And again, of course, you want to bow first, then summon, and then use burst of speed like this, so they use it as well. Burst of speed only takes level 22 to get it to 40 IS with the claws that we're using, so which are Whispering Barrage. If you need more, if you need less, just make sure you test what's the IS frames for you. Other than that, we're getting Shadow Warriors. They're going to be our main ways to create corpses. They're going to cast Fire Blasts, so we have it on both left and right click. So they cast it as much as possible. And that's pretty much the skill points. That's the build. That's how it works. Let's go to the attributes. We have enough strength to wear our gear, dexterity, same. The rest goes into vitality. Very healthy build at 2600. You will want this health pool. You want to have as much sustain as possible. In the beta, we're currently missing 5 all res. You can lose a little bit of damage to get this res if you want. And normally you would just get it from other things like, you know, slams or or whatever you're getting it from. It's a lot easier to get technically in the actual live version with slams. So this is how we're running it right now. That's how I ran all of the testing for it. So again, survivability is a bit worse than it should be, but otherwise you are fine. For the sustain, we have no HPK or LPK because it doesn't work with traps. The way you sustain yourself is by the little bit of leech that you get from your blade shield. You get a little bit of sustain, really not that much. You get a metal grid for an inside golem. It's a cheap golem, right? I'll talk about the gear in a moment, but an inside golem, I forget which button I bound for this. Yeah, for an inside golem, he takes care of your mana, and the life is just, you know, you'll see it's working. Either way, we are running 2 mirages. They let you summon 2 more warriors, and the mirages are super strong. They give you physical pierce, which does work for your, or it should work at least for your traps, and they give you FCR as well, which is nice sometimes if you need FCR for something just to cast stuff. So again, very nice claws, give you plus 2 assassin skills. They're just really awesome. and really strong. One of them needs 2 shales to make it to the last breakpoint. The breakpoints do matter for laying the traps, so make sure one of them is 2 shales. The rest is all fire facets, and only your mastery applies to the traps. The pierce doesn't matter. Pierce doesn't apply to traps, only mastery. So again, only 5 freeze, 5 minus freeze. You don't need the 5/5s for it. We have a shaker here for plus skills, some PDR, and of course put some sockets in it for all res. Again, you can get better stuff than this if you'd like. You can get even IS all res jewels if you want, and drop 1 shale and get one more facet. You want plus skill slams on these to make your traps as strong as possible. Same for arcanes. You want plus skill slam, and then you put 5 free facets inside to get as much mastery as you can. This is also really nice because it gives you a lot of FHR, and FHR is very important for this build. For the belt, we're using a Rax. Rax is very nice for this build because of the plus skills. Mage Fist for the plus skills. We have a BKs and BKs for more life and more plus skills. And we have a Marowaks for cannot be frozen, which is very important. For the swap, CTA and lidless. For the jewelry, we have for the amulet, we have, as I said, a metal grid. Gives you a ton of all res and that insight golem, which is very important for your mana sustain. It's kind of a necessity for this. The skillers are trap skillers, and you have 1 LC for mastery. The rest are small charms for resistances. You can swap this for res if you can't make your res someplace else, but you can't just get like all res on the boots, or you can get PDR on the boots too. There's a lot of different things you can get on the boots, the belt, since you don't need LPK and MPK, and you don't need pretty much anything else. So that's what we're running. Some of these are not perfect, so I guess I could just fix them to be perfect. I think that would make it so we have enough res, right? So we won't say I'm testing with lower. At the start of the beta, I tested with lower then because it made it easier to test, but I guess I already have all these prepared now. So let's do it like this. And before I spawn a map, we'll talk about the merc, of course, as well. The merc is an infinity merc. He has an innocence and a ferocity. He keeps you safe at night and on day as well. He lowers the res of the monsters for the fire damage, which is very important. And yeah, that's pretty much the merc. He stays alive and he keeps you alive as well. There's a very aggressive playstyle because we are going to use D-Flight in order to fly around and kind of teleport to enemies. So just keep that in mind. Very aggressive, but a very fun, unique build. You're not going to see anything like this, I think, on any other build. So yeah, with that said, let's hop into the next map, into the next game, and show how this works like in maps. And hopefully I blow your mind with this one. Alright, let's hop into the map. And generally, as I said, you cast your shadow first in town. It's faster to cast them in town. Give them burst speed, then you can start running. And you want to have very dense maps because you want to have targets to leap to. So again, you want to be leaping appropriately. As you can see, you have a little bit of life leech from the blade shield. And you want to have your Dsentry kind of exploding everyone, and the fire traps, the fire blasts, I should say, are the things that kill everything. So again, the way I play this is just with this little teleport. I have tried using Enigma as well on this build, and it worked very well. I really like the Enigma version as well. It's just harder to make everything work with without all the slams, of course. So Enigma would be my preferred way to play this, I think. It's just hard to showcase during the beta. As you can see, you teleport around, you lay your Dsentry traps. I don't actually use the Fire Blast myself. I let the shadows do that. I just teleport them to the right location. Personally, I prefer laying the traps to where I'm going to before I go there, if possible. You can lay more traps if needed. If something is fire immune, I usually skip it, unless it just dies to things naturally. Of course, I drop more good things while recording. This has been kind of like the theme of my recordings, that I just drop a ton of good things. As you can see, I play a trap and I teleport to it, and everything around it just kind of dies. Again, very cool, very unique kind of build. I personally haven't seen something like this for Dsentry since I joined Project Diablo 2. So absolutely blows my mind how this build can be played, especially with the Shadow Warriors like this. I don't think this would have been possible without them kind of doing the work for this build. As you can see, the sustain is coming mostly from the life leech, and we're trying to be as safe as possible in our movement. And the golem keeps our mana safe. The mercenary keeps us safe. Again, if we had like all the slams, I would have ran Enigma as well, and we'd be even faster. Not to say that this is any slow experience or anything like that. Our first time on this so far was 5 minutes flat. I believe that, again, it can be made faster once you have like some FCR slams to get your FCR breakpoint a little bit higher with Enigma. Of course, you have to be kind of mindful of the traps you're laying. You don't want to over put traps because you are going to run out of mana this way. If you do, drink a potion. If you drink like 3 potions in like a full map, it's physical immune. We can skip it. You don't have to kill everything, generally speaking. Yeah, so once you have all the slams, you can really make this work with Enigma as well. I just couldn't get all the survivability and all the things I needed with it. So that's why I'm not using it right now for the demo. I promise it looks good. Again, if something is alone by itself, I usually don't spend time killing it. That's kind of like a preference thing. Everybody can do whatever they prefer. Yeah, I think there is kind of dying. And over here, I want to cast some. If they can kill him, that would be nice. You can, of course, cast some yourself. Like, you don't have to wait for the warriors to do it. But normally, you want to be focused on just laying the traps and teleporting as tactically as you can. You also don't want to waste your mana too much, sorry. Because you really don't have a lot of it. And the regen from the Iron Golem can only do so much. Yeah, generally I don't use a lot of potions. I don't like using potions if possible. So I try to always come up with ways to self-sustain the build. And I also try to never use very expensive golems, especially for demos. So I know most people can't afford that. But again, I think it's a very unique approach to this build. Again, haven't seen anything like that since I joined Project Diablo 2. And I've been loving it. I've been playing it a lot during the beta. More than I can admit on this channel. And before you wonder about whether we can or cannot kill bosses, I'll already let you know that we absolutely melt them. Even the very annoying girl here, as you can see, Alma. The only thing that you should be worried about, yeah, is your Iron Golem that she sometimes chooses to one-shot. But yeah, even Alma can stand in the path of this, and you get a full clear in 5 minutes. Again, I could do it faster with Enigma, but I can't do it consistently without dying with Enigma right now, and the cast frames are a little bit slow. Again, it has potential for like 430 clear maps, I think, on live, and you can add like whatever you want to that for looting. Again, top tier mapper. I think it's an absolute S tier for me. And I've been playing it an absolute insane amount during the beta, losing a lot of sleep for it too. So I really recommend it. With that said, this is the end of the guide. This is a very unique one. It's very close to my heart. So hopefully somebody takes a liking to it and tries to replicate this build. Again, can be done this way, can be done with Enigma. I even played it with a budget using Skin of the Viper Magi and rare gear. Obviously a lot worse, but still doable. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. If you enjoyed or learned something from this video, or if your mind was blown by Dsentry power, we'll have to make a new insight, I guess. So if it was blown, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, because it really does help a lot. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. Have a good whatever you're having. Until the next time, bye bye bye.